Welcome to DevOps Summit Canada 2020, and thank you for joining DevOps Community of Practices and Maturity Model Track. In this session, I will share the human side of DevOps transformation. Transformation is a journey. It's not an easy process, especially if we are referring to the people. This fact is also brought by Gartner in their research on challenges in implementing and expanding DevOps. The result is not surprising. People is the hardest part, but sadly, the most critical one to the success of the implementation. But in order to succeed with your digital transformation, you need Agile and DevOps. So you have to deal with these challenges. This is also one interesting information published by Gartner in late 2019, saying that Agile and DevOps are the key to digital transformation. It means Agile and DevOps will become the standard in our enterprise IT, combined with lean and modern IT service management. Most of organizations will go through the journey and have to deal with the human side of the transformation. In this session, I will share my knowledge and experience and hope this can bring insight in your transformation journey. Let me introduce myself. My name is Christian Hermanus. I am from Jakarta, Indonesia. I am a managing partner of Narada Code, a lean digital transformation company in Indonesia, specialized in helping organizations with the transformation to become modern enterprise IT with Agile, DevOps, Lean, and modern IT service management. I am also an organizer of DevOps Indonesia, a community for DevOps and modern IT in Indonesia with more than 3,000 members. My topic for this event is the human side of DevOps transformation. The beginning part of this story is inspired by my experience during DevOps consulting project. Let me introduce you with the Roro Jonggrang project team. Wayan is the project manager. Tenri is the developer head. Ucok is the infrastructure head. Dewi is the quality assurance head. And Alo is the user. One day, they held a project kickoff. And at the end of project kickoff, the boss remembered something. By the way, I just met our strategic consultant. They said that we should implement DevOps immediately. So I want to use this Roro Jonggrang project as a pilot for DevOps implementation. Project team was very surprised with both statements. And Wayan, the project manager, instantly replied, "Boss, it's too risky. This project is very important." Well, we don't have any choice. This is the only project that have not started yet. Next day, after the project kick-off, team project held a discussion. I think this project is going to be difficult. I have to make all of team project work in a constant collaboration, and I also have to getting familiar with this DevOps tool and technique. What do you think, Tenri? Wayan asked Tenri. Tenri replied, I don't like this DevOps implementation idea. My team are not excited with the necessity to work with infrastructure engineers closer. And they are already comfortable with the technology stack they have chosen. Then Wayan asked Ucok, the infrastructure head. Ucok, what is your opinion about DevOps? I think I will lose control over the IT infrastructure provisioning and management. I am also have to develop my team to get familiar with a range of IT automation, version control, and other tools. And since we have a lot of daily routine, it is not easy to coordinate with developers and the QA team from the very beginning of the project, said Ucok. Wayan also asked Dewi, the QA head, "How about you, Dewi?" "My team have lot of testing on queue. They don't have time to learn new tools for automated testing," said Dewi. They continued discussing the project. Each party involved in the Roro Jonggrang project has its reason to be suspicious with the DevOps approach. New duties, close collaboration, the necessity to apply new tools, and other DevOps-related changes may make project managers, developers, QA engineers, IT infrastructure managers, and operation team, and even the end users resist to DevOps approach. Why do people resist to change? Is it normal? Resistance to change normally come down to one thing, which is fear, especially fear of the unknown. Even with the fullest amount of information possible, there are things we can't predict and it is scary. It's not only the negative change we fear, such as being laid off or facing a health crisis. Even the most exciting changes, the one we seek out and initiate ourselves, are sometimes hard to lean into. Just look at these changes that DevOps bring to us. There are a lot of changes. Bedside, from large to micro. Organization, from skill-centric silo to autonomous dedicated cells. Scheduling, from centralized to decentralized and continuous, and so on. Of course, we have to adapt, we have to learn, and we have to try. Yes, I knew it. But what if I fail? What if I'm not fast enough to learn? Will someone take my position? Do I still involve in the project? Why do people resist to change? First, that because we are wired to resist. We are biologically wired to resist change. It is the key to our survival. The book Wired to Resist provides a new understanding of our biology and why change fails, despite our best plan. Dr. Andreatta synthesizes the latest research into a new model for change that harnesses the power of neuroscience and show you how to thrive and lead through all kinds of change. This brain mechanism repeat successful behavior, like returning to a restaurant where we had a good meal, or approaching a work project in a similar way to a previous one that turned out well. The SCARF model was developed in 1928 by David Rock in his paper, SCARF, a brain-based model for collaborating with and influencing others. SCARF stands for the 5 key domains that influence our behavior in social situations. These are status, our relative importance to others; certainty, our ability to predict the future; autonomy, how safe we feel with others; and fairness, how fair we perceive the exchange between people to be. The model is based on neuroscience research that implies that These 5 social domains activate the same threat and reward response in our brain that we rely on for physical survival. DevOps implementation might threatening some of these 5 domains of me. I don't have some level of certainty if I do DevOps for this project since I don't know what DevOps is. I might lose my status due to new organization structure. I might lose my autonomy if I have to work in a tight collaboration, and so on. And I believe there are many other explanations about why do people resist to change. What can we do to solve this kind of situation? Implementing DevOps is not an easy task. It requires involvement at all levels and all related departments. So let's take a look on both sides and also on project team side. On the boss side, the first thing is, hey boss, please be a transformational leader. Transformational leadership is a style first described by James McGregor Burns in his 1978 book Leadership and expanded on during the 1980s by fellow scholar Bernard M. Bass. Bass introduced above 4 components, also known as 4 I's of leadership, to provide a base for transformational leadership that a leader should demonstrate for effective performance and result. The first element is to be a positive role model. In leadership jargon, this is called idealized influence. The leader serves as positive role model for the followers. Moreover, the leader is admired because she or he walks the talk. In other words, the leader wouldn't ask followers to do something that he or she wouldn't do. And the leader never say one thing and does another. The second element is inspirational motivation. Transformational leaders have the ability to inspire and motivate followers. Combine this with idealized influence, this is become the source of the transformational leader's charisma. The next 2 elements are about the leader-follower relationship. Individualized consideration is when transformational leaders demonstrate genuine concern for the needs and feelings of followers. This personal attention to each followers is a key element in bringing out their very best effort and in developing the followers' leadership potential. The final element is called intellectual stimulation. The leader challenges followers to be innovative and creative. The office climate is different from the culture. The climate is the perception of the work environment by an employee. It is how employees feel when they are at work, which has a direct correlation to how motivated they are to do well. Hey boss, the corporate culture might be given, but working climate is yours. Paying careful attention to the workplace climate and always striving to make it better for employee is the mark of an excellent boss. It has long been understood that an organization working environment is linked to the effectiveness of organization itself. Let's listen to studies by psychologists George Litwin and Richard Stringer then identified 6 key factors that influence an organization working environment. These are flexibility, Do employees feel to innovate? Do they feel trapped by process and paperwork? Responsibility. Do people take responsibility for their own action? Or is there a culture of blame? Standards. Do team members set high standards for themselves and others around them? Commitment. Are the employee committed to share purpose and they proud to work for the organization? Reward. Do staff see clear link between the effort and any reward and recognition that comes their way? Clarity. Do people know what is expected from them and how those expectations are linked to larger goals? What else that the boss can do? Hey boss, you're the boss. You can figure it out. Now, let's talk about the project team. For many people, DevOps and all of its practices is a new thing. Since we have a lot of skill and knowledge before DevOps, we need to unlearn and relearn. According to Barry O'Reilly, unlearning is the process of letting go of, moving away from, and reforming one's useful mindset and acquired behavior that were effective in the past but now limit our success. Is not forgetting or discharging knowledge or experience. It is the conscious act of letting go of outdated information and actively gathering and taking in a new information to inform effective decision making and action. To learn DevOps, we need a training to make sure everyone is on the same page. But training alone is not enough. Everyone should have an opportunity to practicing the DevOps practices that relevant for them. That's the way we can make a breakthrough. In our professional life, we often facing cynical people, including during the DevOps implementation. What makes a person become a cynical people? A cynical people is caused by low level of understanding and low level of emotional engagement. That's why conduct training to make sure everyone is on the same page is important. Do you still remember that resistance to change normally come down to one thing, which is fear? Especially fear to the unknown? Progress iteratively with feedback can help us in this situation. We can use minimum viable product concept so we can gain understanding about the end result. DevOps cover every single aspect of modern IT. Therefore, there are a lot of opportunities for everyone involved in DevOps implementation. Instead of limiting DevOps implementation only to a particular team, why don't we ask everyone to contribute their best for DevOps implementation? Leaving people with DevOps understanding but with low emotional involvement is dangerous since they become a critical people against us. To make everybody contribute to DevOps initiative, I introduce you to Indonesian core spirit known as Gotong Royong. Gotong Royong, which best described as community, volunteerism, and collaboration. Volunteerism is a basic expression of human relationship. It's about people needs to participate in their societies and to feel that they matter to others. The ethos of voluntarism is infused with values such as solidarity, reciprocity, mutual trust, belonging, and empowerment, all of which contribute significantly to quality of working climate. How about collaboration? The name DevOps itself depicts collaboration. Traditionally, development and operation have different priorities and work in silo and are often on crossroads over priorities. Development needs the ability to make changes and operation vow for stability. Collaboration thereby is the key culture aspect of DevOps, which bring together development and operation teams. Real-time feedback and communication allow team to make rapid change to an application while keeping a stable and robust environment. This gotong royong spirit also useful to reduce resistance to DevOps, since through gotong royong, everyone can think and implement an idea. After having a DevOps training, everybody have the same understanding about DevOps and ready to explore and implement the practices. So the boss asks everybody to start thinking their contribution for DevOps implementation. Everybody, not just the member of Roro Jonggang project. The PMO, planning and architecture team start think about Lucy couple architectures. They start learning about Lucy couple architectures and hopefully the new application will implementing Lucy couple architectures. While the existing one slowly to migrate to the target architecture approach. The PMO, planning and architecture team also set up the technology standard. This standard is very important since there are a lot of choice about tools in DevOps. The process and governance team start identify what are policies, procedure, and other governance instruments such as job description that will be affected by DevOps implementation. This team also start practicing value stream mapping in order to make a process leaner before they implement any automation to that process. This team has to think about what control should be automated and be part of the process. How to increase the consistency, the visibility, and the transparency of the result to all team and related stakeholders. How to facilitate continuous improvement is also critical. They have to ensure all improvements are documented as a reference in a playbook and form a community of practices. So all good practices are maintained and improved and eventually become a culture in the organization. The business analyst team changed the way they gather requirements from their user, ensuring the requirement clearly express customer needs and crystal clear for the development team. They start practicing on how to improve the collaboration between the users, the development team, and all related stakeholders. The product backlog is managed with the modern tools that allow them to visualize the tasks and tracking the tasks easily. The developer team start with versioning and source code management. They no longer keep the source code on the developer notebook locally, but to collaborate and push it to shared repository. To increase the quality of their code, they implement several practices and tools, such as peer review, unit testing, software composition analysis, code quality scan, and static application security testing. Several improvements in programming practices are also required and will be introduced gradually. With all of these modern practices, the developer team can ensure they build the quality start from the beginning, get fast feedback, and they can continuously improve their code quality. The QA team start shifting from the manual software testing process to automated testing. They plan to automate both functional and non-functional testing executed consistently across their environment. The test includes several black box security testing, such as dynamic application security testing. There are a lot of things to do for the infrastructure and operation team, such as how to provisioning the infrastructure and configure the environment automatically and consistently. They start by providing integrated CI/CD pipeline, monitoring, performance measure to alert management for all services. They aim to make the capability as a platform for the internal IT team and organization. They keep exploring on the new technologies to improve their infrastructure and operation, shifting from manual and business as usual work to more engineering and more valuable work. Piece by piece, all new capabilities were gathered, gradually shaping the DevOps framework. Since it is inspired by the spirit of Gotong Royong, so I called this framework the DevOps Gotong Royong framework. I would like to also emphasize one important thing. You have to build your own DevOps framework that works for your organization. You can adopt framework from any sources, but for sure adapt it to your organization process and culture. This is the only way it can work and can bring the most benefit to your organization. Terima kasih for your attention. I hope this talk can bring insight and useful in your transformation journey. Let's keep connected. You can reach me on my LinkedIn or visit our website. You can also join the DevOps Indonesia community. We have monthly meetup to discuss on how modern IT approach such as DevOps, DevNetOps, SRE, and modern IT service management can be implemented in your organization. Thank you once again and hope you enjoy the DevOps Summit Canada 2020.